Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. And if you're new, please like, comment, and subscribe. But I'll give you a few minutes to make up your mind and everything. Just know I talk about politics, of course, yes, and nerd stuff. I have my nerd channel, which I will start on that soon. I'm trying to. Oh, and also upcoming small business owner slash children's book author. Well, author of urban fantasy and sci-fi kind of stuff. Greeting cards. Oh yeah, it's like I've noticed. It's like I try not to say but then I've noticed I have said it a few times. I'm gonna try to break out of that habit. I did really well in my speech class back in high school. I guess, especially since I've decided not to do scripted because at the beginning I had bullet points but then once I slipped up or messed up, I got so nervous and I start again and I start again and it got to a point where I'm just like, let me just talk. But then when I talk, as people who have subscribed and listened already know, my YouTube channel is as messy as my life. And sometimes I might seem like I'm way off base with my storytelling, but then I take like a U turn back to another exit, back around the city, back to where I started, because a lot of my life, a lot of the tea I spill comes together and I've realized, especially with life, that whole theorem philosophy of the domino effect. Once you knock down one domino, depending on which direction you're pointing it through, it's going to have an effect. And so, a lot of things that's happened later in my life, I now see the why and the purpose and things. So, if that makes sense, but if not, trust me, while you listen to me talk, it will. But okay. Lately, it's like I've been looking through a lot of my dating screenshots because I will be showing a lot more dating nightmares soon. And also a lot of screenshots of different projects that I did for my classrooms when I taught in the inner city in Michigan. Ooh wee, I have so many stories, but like I don't have I have my pictures of the snails, not the kids with the snails. I was so engaged with my students that is like I took the pictures of the snails in the cage, but when it was time to read to their snails and to do the scientific research of which snail is eating what and to observe and everything, I was away from my phone. I was with my students going from table in pain because this is prior to surgery and diagnosis. So, yeah, absolute pain. But I was tuned in to my students and everything. But yeah, if you've never seen about 20 different snails crawling in a cage, I've got pictures. I have pictures. I miss them. And oh my gosh, to think they're in high school right now. They're in high school right now. Oh my, I hope the best for them. I did anything and everything I could to encourage them. And yes, I was tough on them. As you've heard some of my stories, yes, I'm very, I think one benefit of my parents being tough on me is I'm tough, but I'm tough with love. Because even with my college students, yes, I call some of them lazy because they were, especially when some students are telling me that the subject matter doesn't even matter or doesn't care or just some of the and or they're gonna say bigoted things towards me. Mm-hmm. And then it's just pretty sad But then at the same time, when they realize that I've canceled some of the big projects that, like, if a class is great, I will like I will bring my friends who own small businesses into the classroom, and I would have like the students do either a website or a business makeover. It depends on my friend and their business and where they think they might have some issues. One time it was to create a commercial, but we I only got to do this one time because I would allow my friend or the business owner to come into the classroom, and they would observe the students, and then they tell me after class thumbs up or thumbs down. And a lot of my friends, yeah, we look young, moisturized, sunscreen and everything. And so students just thought they were a student because I would tell them, oh, yeah, wear a hoodie, like, I mean, dress young, like, dress like you did in college. And oh my gosh, one of my friends made me crack up. She was adorable. She had even like some Hello Kitty stuff on. I was just like, one, I need that sweatshirt. Where'd you get it? But anyways, like, with teaching K through 12 or college, I've learned so much. And then with that, when it comes to dating, I have learned so much. And starting and running my own business, and then trying to do that while dating men who, like, I'm just now, it's like I kind of knew this from the beginning, but I kept wondering why. But for some reason, men are intimidated by me, even though I'm still at the beginning stages of what I'm doing. And especially, like, I was at a point in 2019 where I almost had enough money for a down payment for a house. And this is while doctors were ignoring me. I was in absolute pain, but I was still working two or three jobs. Still working two or three jobs in absolute pain. Teachers coming up to me, like, while I'm creating math competitions for the middle schoolers. Oh, and then with my eighth graders, we had phonic rap battles, which, oh my gosh, I think that might be fun for the nerd channel. But it's like I taught about the apartheid, and I forgot which like phonetic um particle we used. I think it was the ch sound, ch and k, but it had to be a combination of the ck, k, and then cha. But I just remember some of my students laid it down because I gave them different articles to read, but also different YouTube videos that they could watch at home. And then they had to do like a two phrase or two paragraph of raps. And then every other Friday, they come to class and they bat like first out. They would kind of be like, oh, okay. It's like, you're on my team, you're on my team. And it's like, we didn't do red versus blue, like, yeah, in the city, yeah, no. And so, since purple is a royal color, we did purple. And oh, well, it's like sometimes I switch up the other colors, but it's like I try to teach my students to think of themselves as royalty, think of themselves as being wonderful, magnificent, amazing. Because yeah, while I did the math competitions and the rap battles, and like, a lot of the students, or not a lot, but there were a lot of my students who would come in for computer classes. They, like, I had quite a few who told me they were behind in their reading level and they want to improve. And they know during class and stuff, sometimes I would be like, okay, repeat after me. And I would say like several words with the same phonetical phrase, like term and particle, and they would follow along with me. So then every week or every other week, I would print out words for that student to study. And with some of the parents, like, I remember the vice principal, she tried, I don't like, something happened, or one of the students tried to accuse me of something, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, boo, try me. And she was like, do you have any of the students' phone numbers? And I had one middle schooler, eighth grader, and she was like, why do you have their number? Well, for the writing competition, it's an essay contest, and she was very determined to place in this. I think it was based on state, so she wanted to win the Michigan one, and she was writing her essay on Eminem. And so in class, it's like I tell my students each one can pick a song, but it has to be no swearing in it. So find a clean version of it. And like her, like a couple other students too, they chose Eminem, but then they were surprised I chose Eminem and Snow the Product. If you don't know about Snow the Product, oh my God, if I can interview her one day, oh my gosh, I am such a fan. But I remember Venom. It's like I was going through a lot that year, and my mom just got diagnosed with cancer. So I don't know. It's just like with that song, and it's like, but I remember she would even come during her lunchtime, working on her paper and stuff. But it's like she asked for my number, and I said she has to have her parents' permission. Her parents even wrote a note for me letting me know that it was okay for her to have my number. And so the deal was, whenever she called me, she needed to be in the kitchen where her family, or in the living room where her family was, and put the phone on speaker. Again, put the phone on speaker so that everyone could hear what we're talking about, what I'm saying. And so while she's working on her paper, I it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, you need this information? Okay, so how would you look this up? So I was teaching her keywords, how to look up things, and how to eliminate certain options from the Google like search. And it's like I tried teaching my classes this, but they told me they're not white. I will do a whole series of, yeah, I try to teach, but they told me they weren't white. And that still kind of breaks my heart, because part of me just feels like being educated doesn't mean you're white. And do you know how many people they think we're dumb as a whole just because of our race? It's like, do you know how, like, even with my ex's mom telling me the only reason I got into college is because I'm black, not because I'm smart, but because I'm black. Even though I have 3 degrees, 3 certifications, it's like, no, of course, it could not be because I'm smart. And I did all of that with a disability, physical and learning disability. Worked so hard, studied in my car, studied at McDonald's, the subway. Like, yeah, I had my certain locations of areas where I studied, or my toxic ex boyfriends. And then at the same time, Mr. No Heart, he dropped out of college. So, and so that still is mind boggling. Your non-person of color son, your white son, he can drop out and there's no issue, no problem, nothing. But then I get in and I bust my tush off and I finish. And then I go back and I finish again. Then I go back and finish again. And then I'm like, oh, I want to learn more to embrace my, like, when I get into my either job or business, which now I use everything for my business, I want to make sure that I am as qualified and that I know as much as possible to branch off on my knowledge. But no, since I am black, oh, it's disgusting how, especially even with black men, it's like I already have an issue with certain white people, because I don't want to say white people, because some people are going to say, oh, not all of us. I know not all of you, because sometimes if I say a certain demographic, I don't mean all. I don't mean all. I may not say certain group, but I don't mean all. So just so you know, just so you know. But especially with certain black men, so many times I've heard, what kind of man wants a smart woman? Oh, and it breaks my heart because I'm just like, are you serious? And I'm a nerd. I love watching documentaries. I love being creative, thinking outside the box, exploring new things. And a lot of people blame me for never getting married. And part of me feels like and the thing is, I never even finished the Mr. like, or the Scott story. Yeah, I never finished that because he was a gentleman I met while I was working at the zoo, and he was so upset that I worked promotional modeling, and I started my master's, which I think he kind of second guessed, or I don't know if he thought if I was gonna finish or not. I don't know, but he had a problem with the promotional modeling. And so he threatened that he was going to break up with me and he didn't want anything to do with me because to him, promotional modeling meant going to the bars and being skimpy and flirting and things like that. And I don't know. No, no. I did work some bar promos, and that's a funny thing. He has the same perception of promotional modeling as my parents, and my parents were ashamed of me. But I worked mostly toy promos, video game, banks. I did so much with Sesame Street and everything like that. So like, cause yeah, PNG grew up great. But yes, the alcohol promos paid more. And hello, I'm paying for grad school on my own. It's like, all right, I'm still paying off student loans, but I was trying to pay it off at the same time. So at least it wouldn't be so big. But then that turned to a flop, trying to survive. But anyway, but when he broke up with me, because I told him I'm not quitting and I told him he can break up with me, I told him, like, you're not going to control my life. And the dominoes, I didn't know where my dominoes were going to lead. I didn't know the cause and effect, but I'm so happy and blessed that it ended up the way it did. I knew, like, and he doesn't realize, like, the hard work I was going through because his parents were going to buy him a business. Buy him a business. My parents threatened to throw me out the house if they caught me starting a business. And they were gonna call all of my, like, well, not all of my, because I have so many, but there were certain cousins that they called and said, keep a watch on her on Facebook, on social media. If you hear or any sign of her starting a business, let us know. We'll throw her out. And so hearing a guy tell me I better quit, and then I'm already faced with I better not do promotional modeling. I better not start a business. Why in the hell are you in grad school? Those were the things I was hearing. And those things broke my heart because I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? Because I was applying for jobs. I was trying to get into a marketing agency, but they kept, whenever I would walk in, I'm undiagnosed. And doctors keep saying the pain's in my head. So, why do you walk like that? Is that permanent? Are you going to the hospital? Are you going to get surgery? What's wrong with you? Please tell us. We need to know. It's like, are you going to walk around like that? If you have a meeting and you have to meet our clients, do you know they're going to look at you? I kept getting that during interviews. So uncomfortable. Teaching too. Do you know how many students that should have been suspended for videotaping in the classroom? But I hold them dearly, and I hope they're thankful because I told them to delete the evidence off their phones because they tape recorded teachers calling me like just awful things, like the cripple teacher, Miss Cripple, and just similar things like that, mocking how I walk. Yeah, the science slash math teacher, she literally mocked how I walked quite a few times. Yeah, I think there was 3 or 4 students, maybe no, I know there was 5 different students who recorded her. Some recorded her more than once, and I'm like, does she talk about me every week? Like, if it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, is it try to tear down like me day or what is going on? And it's crazy because it's like I busted my tush off for to get all of my education and trying to uplift myself, but also I thought once I get myself together, I will be marriage ready and I will find a husband that kind of has the same mindset. He like we both want to be business oriented, but business oriented in a way where once we build it, we can step away, we can go to sleep, we can rest. Like when we have our kids, if they have a role in the play, we can go and not worry. We'll make money while we're at the play. Soccer, ballet, karate, whatever. And it's like if they get sick, we need to take them to the doctors, not a problem whatsoever. And then we can travel while we're out of town, we're making money while we're on the plane, while we're in the hotel, while we're like going for souvenirs or brunch or whatever. And it's just annoying and frustrating because I was trying so hard to be the best me that I could be, but the best me was not fitting in any of the arenas. I like because having teachers who kept telling, like, okay, I'm gonna need a part two, but to kind of give you a foreshadowing, when an organization came in for the robotics team, I was encouraging, like, this is amazing. Where it's like, we have STEM. You guys can learn how to work robots and like maybe even gain an interest to major in this if to in community college, or get a trade certification. And the teachers would be like, why are you trying to tell them how to be white? Why are you trying to train them to be white? What are you talking about? With my first graders, I taught them some American Sign Language. Why are you trying to teach them to be white? Why, like, oh, they're not going to learn anything. They're not going to remember anything. I remember I taught them in first grade. And then when they were in third grade, and they had this one teacher, and yeah, she didn't care for me. She lied, or I don't know, she's two-faced. But anyway, it was just really funny. Oh, I said again. Okay, I'm working on it. Anyway, I remember when the principal was asking me if I knew of anyone that would be willing to come to the school and teach American Sign Language to the students. And I was so excited. I'm like, yes, oh my gosh. But then teachers were like, these students don't know anything. They're never going to learn it. It doesn't matter. So I called up 2 of my boys. I would say their names, but I don't have their permission. But oh my gosh, they don't, they still don't know. After this experience, I walked away with happy tears and, happy petty tears too, because they came up And I was like, "Hi, boys, how are you?" And they're like, "We're good. We miss you. We miss you." And oh my gosh, that kind of got me too. But I'm like, can you tell these ladies that you would like to take them outside to smell the flowers? And they did it. They didn't even look at each other. They didn't need help. They remembered. It's like they knew how to the flowers and everything. And one of them even said red flower. And I'm like, dang, you even remember the colors. You even remember the colors. And so, like you don't even know. I was so excited and happy. And the teacher's mouths dropped. Their mouths dropped. And I was just like, and this is why with my linguistics minor, I learned for like up to the age of 7 is the magic number. It's like from birth to 7, that's the magic number for kids to be learning a language, more than one language, because they're not thinking hola is Spanish for hi. They're just thinking oh just they're just thinking like of the word. It's like I cannot speak right now. Sorry, I'm still caught up, but gracias and de nada and like uno, dos, tres and things like that. They're not calculating like and trying to formulate. It's like their brain up until the age of around 7, it just goes and the brain is like putting them in the categories of where they need to go, but not in a scientific way. It's just more in a flow type of fashion. And so I was a proud mama bear right there. And I remember one of them, he was like, "Are you going to teach us more?" And he's jumping up and down. And so that's why, like, when I walked away, I had like, like happy tears. I had to wipe them off real fast because I start off the school day with my 8th graders. It's honors English. So I knew it's like, yeah, I can't let the middle schoolers see me with tears. So, but they have seen me with tears. The day that one of my cousins got eliminated from this earth, I still don't know why, but my family member texted me while I was at work. And with our school, when we get mass text, it's like it's on our cell phone. So I thought maybe it was a mass text because it's the same similar noise or whatever. I go look, and then I see that her ex-boyfriend drove to her job. And yeah, and I was teaching my middle schoolers, and yeah, they saw tears that day, but they were so compassionate. And I mean, oh well, no, the 7th graders. So I'm glad. Like I only see them. Like I only saw them once or twice a week. Thank God. But the 8th graders I saw like every day or whatever. But yeah, the 8th graders that year were pretty awesome. So, but thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman. I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human. And please don't limit yourself to hobbies that you think are stereotyped to you. It, I'm not saying like be careful, because I know there are certain people who try to take on certain things that are of other cultures, but then they try to take it as their own. Or and well, good example, breakdancing. Yeah, that's perfect example. So yeah, if you're gonna break dance, even if you teach it in college, like that one, hopping like a bunny rabbit in a kangaroo, girl, girl, come on now. Anyway, it's like do whatever is in your dreams and everything like that. But at the same time, it's just, yeah, be a little cautious, have some empathy and some educational thought with it. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman. am of color, and I am handy capable. But most importantly, I am human.